I made a little second channel video a couple of months ago about how I consider Ozempic to be a wondrous, fantastic miracle drug that should be available to everyone. 4 months ago now, I said Ozempic is a miracle drug and everyone should have access. And, if you want my broader opinion on that, go click that video and check it out. But I've radicalized my stance since then. It's not just that Ozempic is a miracle drug that everyone should have access to. I want to eliminate fatness. I believe that Ozempic should be forced on everyone. Everyone should be forced to take it in order to eliminate the scourge of fatness from the world. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because some people will see the thumbnail for this video and be like, that empanada wants to genocide fat people. As if obesity, rather than being a serious health problem and a disease with 1 billion comorbidities, rather than that, for them it's like an identity that can be genocided. And those people are ridiculous, so I want to mock them by talking about how I think everyone should have this incredibly effective medical treatment with scarcely few potential side effects that only ever manifest in a tiny proportion of people, similar to the COVID vaccine. It's such a great public health benefit that not only benefits the person who takes it, but also benefits broader society because it saves broader society a ton of labor hours, money, healthcare resources that would otherwise probably need to be spent on treating the obese person. It's just a net good. So my opinion is that we should institute mandatory forced, I'm coining an adjective here, Zemping. Firstly, I want to note, take a little of a side note here. We need to define some terms here. I'm coining some terms here. Remember, if you ever see people use these terms, I'm the one who originated them, okay? Give me credit. I'm copywriting these here, okay? I'm going to sue you like Ethan Klein. 1, to zemp. This is a verb. To zemp is to inject Ozempic, okay? To zemp. I'm zemping right now. Inject. I'm fully zemped. To be zemped up is to be on Ozempic, okay? Are you writing this down? Take notes. This is like Aristotle and Socrates having dialogues with each other. And zemping is obviously when you zemp, okay? So I support mandatory forced zemping of everyone, at least of people who are slightly overweight at the very least. Now, the reason why people have developed this whole identity of being fat as if it's an identity category rather than a temporary ailment that can, with difficulty, you can be cured of. The reason why they came up with this whole identity fat acceptance and stuff, which, fat acceptance is fine in that you shouldn't be discriminated against for it, but a lot of it goes far beyond that into trying to frame it as an identity, a core part of your identity on the level of being black or something, an innate category, an innate characteristic. And the reason why that whole thing cropped up in the first place is specifically because losing weight is difficult, and it's difficult to be overweight and know that you can lose that weight, but then you have the barrier to that, which is that it's actually really difficult to do. Because, your body is adjusted to, your weight. Your body is going to give you urges to, consume enough food based on the weight that you're currently at. And you need to, resist those urges, which in a way are kind of like withdrawals from drugs. And that's difficult, right? People have trouble doing that. But rather than, just saying, it's too hard for me, so I don't want to do it. People came up with excuses I'm naturally fat, I can't lose weight, or being fat is an innate part of me that I can't get rid of, whatever the fuck. And then Ozempic comes along and it's actually, turns out, at least with the correct medication, it's pretty easy. So now that you might have noticed, there's not really much fat acceptance anymore. The whole fat acceptance movement is gone because all the fat acceptance influencers are just buying Ozempic now. At the end of the day, it was just that it was really hard to lose weight. And it's not that you couldn't lose weight. It's not that you had a thyroid condition that prevented you from losing weight. It's not that being obese was a part of your identity. It's just that it was difficult. So now we have Ozempic, and it's a great net good. At the end of the day, no one wants to be fat, okay? No one will admit it, but no one wants to be fat. It's not fun to be fat. It's essentially a disability that causes you a bunch of other disabilities that also causes you a bunch of other potential disabilities. There are perhaps some circumstances, you just want a bunch of girth to be a fighter or something, I don't know. Maybe it can be an advantage in some sport, who knows, sumo wrestling or something, I don't fucking know. But those, these are outliers. Most people don't want to be fat, okay? They'll never admit it, but they don't want to be fat. Now we have a thing that should be prescribed widely and for free as much as possible. That will help people no longer be fat and no longer have the health ailments associated with being fat. Excellent. There's been like news stories and stuff, by the way, about like fat acceptance influencers who lost weight via Ozempic, while their followers who can't afford the fucking Ozempic feel abandoned by them. Because it turns out that they weren't actually all about fat acceptance. They were just about like feeling better about their own inability to lose weight and helping others feel better about that as well, which I would argue is actually very detrimental, because you don't want to instill in people the idea that they cannot and should not lose weight. People should always think that they can lose weight. You know, if they don't want to, that's fine. But, you know, it's like smoking. It's a choice that you make, but you should make that choice knowing that it's not good for you and that you could potentially quit if you really, really put in the effort, because it is very hard to do. Nonetheless, now we have Ozempic that gets rid of that factor. Okay, Zemping makes it very easy to lose weight for the vast majority of people who take it, or you know, it's the other similar drugs like Wegovy. So now I am advocating for forced Zemping, involuntary Zemping, free Zemp provided to everyone. My words are reverberating in the earth so hard that there is an earthquake now, as you can clearly see, because what I'm saying is such a truth bomb that it literally caused a nuclear explosion nearby. I am responsible for the murder of millions of people, but ultimately, to advocate for the good of forced Zemping, it is worth it. Anyway, the nuclear bomb just stopped. I support involuntary, massed, forced Zemping of all citizens of the world who are at least slightly overweight. That is the thesis of this video. Bad Empanada is fatphobic, is what they're going to say. Bad Empanada wants to genocide fat people. They've said that before. I'm all for it. That's a hilarious claim. Go for it, man. I also want to genocide cancer. You know, I don't want cancer to exist anymore. I want cancer to be cured. Does that mean I want to genocide all cancer patients? I don't know, man. But I certainly don't want anyone to be obese. So I want to Zemp. Zemp everyone. Zemp them all. Gotta Zemp them all. It's the Bad Empanada ethos. And I want you to know, by the way, that when you bring up like extreme edge cases of Ozempic side effects, particularly that happen among people who don't take the medication as directed, like you start with the highest dose from the beginning, you are doing the exact same thing that anti-vaxxers do. Pointing to like extreme edge cases of very rare side effects, because people did factually die as a result of vaccine side effects in very rare cases with the COVID vaccine. You're doing the same thing that those people are doing. You are pointing to what is an abundant public good with a very small chance of negative side effects. You're specifically pointing to extreme edge cases to discredit the entire medicine, which you could do with any medicine. And you should interrogate why you think it's okay to do here.